It's huge, it's barb and it's wild. Hey everybody, well I'm back out at Hayes Castle again. Nice to get back out on the water here. The boys have been fishing it a bit lately. I've been busy with a bit of work. The fishing has been a bit hit and miss. They're not picking many up on the lures yet, minds. Most of the fishing has been done on a floating line. And the conditions up here today, it's going to be dry I think for most of the day, but it is quite windy. Very, very cold. Been watching the water, seen one or two fish move near the top, but nothing much. But what I want to show you is my daughter had given me an advent calendar, but it's an advent calendar with a bit of a difference. It's this thing here, fly box with flies in. If you see it there, I've obviously started it. For me, I was quite excited getting this. Couldn't wait for the first to start opening and see what I got. To give you an example of the first pattern I got. Now when I had it I thought, oh, this is make a good video. Show you the advent fly box and then maybe have a bit of a challenge and perhaps see if I can catch a fish on each of the flies. The first fly I pulled out from the first, I don't even see that there. That is, I don't know what to say, it's huge, it's barbed, it's huge, and it's wild. So now as I've gone through the box each day as it goes, now I'm wondering if I'm going to catch a fish with the whole box. So the flies aren't too clever, but you just never know. If you've got stockies in there, they may pick up on them. Which reminds me, this water has been stocked. In the last, about a week and a half ago it was stocked. The boys have been pulling a few of the stockies out, but I'm going to give it a go today and I'm setting two rods up. The second rod I'm not sure whether I'm going to go with the second floater or go with the intermediate, but I'm starting off with the first one, which is with the floating line. I've got my intermediate braid on, which is 5 foot, about 4 foot of line to the first dropper, and then I'm going another 4 foot to a point fly. So what I've been messing about with is a couple of new patterns. I'm going to mix them about. I've got about 3 or 4 different patterns. They're sort of variations. It's a mix between like a dowback and a cormorant. So obviously if I'm picking fish up more regular, lower, then I may put the second rod out with the intermediate line just so I can fish it a bit quicker. But if I'm picking the fish up and it's slower pace, then I'll stick with the floater, because obviously with the intermediate, once you're going down, if you're not moving them to, you know, at a certain pace, then obviously it's going to continue dropping, and if I'm passing them fish, that's no use. But I'll give that a go. And as far as the advent calendar thing goes and the flies that are in there, maybe towards the afternoon I might put 1 or 2 of these on and give it a go. Okay, that clip was from first thing this morning, and what a way to start the day. It was stunning, and for me to get those 2 fish to the net was special. Okay, they were stockies, but I've been struggling to get a fish to the net over the last month or so in the morning sessions. I've been having knocks and even losing fish, and I don't mind when it's an occasional morning, but when it becomes consistent, it can become a psychological thing. So I'm glad to get out of that. But both those fish were taken on the point fly and fished with a slow figure of 8. So just to go through some of the patterns that we've been using and trying lately. We may end up tweaking some of them until we're happy. Each fly is tied considering the water, whether it's coloured water or clear water. And as important is what level is to be fished and how fast. But we have been picking up more of the resident fish on the smaller patterns, and this is not a game of numbers but quality. So most of these patterns are on a size 14 hook and smaller, but for the moment it's difficult to know what the pattern can do, as we have had a recent stocking, and the stockies will grab hold of most things, and more often than not we get to the fly before the resident fish. But as they settle in, we will have a better idea. So for the 2 stockies this morning, they took this fly. We were trying the idea of sparse, and this wing was really an afterthought. But being bright and small, it certainly attracts the fish's attention. So this next pattern again, size 14. But it has all the favourite colour combinations. Peacock herl body, blue flash rib, yellow-green flash chenille, and a soft black marabou wing. And with that gold head we can fish it many ways. A great point fly, fished deep and slow or mid-water with a varied retrieve. And this pattern has already taken quite a few fish. So the next pattern, again sparse and for higher in the water or deeper on a dropper. Again some great combinations in there. Has had its fair share of fish, but we really haven't fished it enough yet. Now this one we tied for Elladine Lakes. Its total length is about 1.5 inches, maybe a bit less. What we did here was bulk the fly, and that gives you more of a silhouette in the water. And that bulk of green fritz makes a great target point. But this lure has really worked well in the clear water also. And again, it's caught quite a few fish. Saving the best till last. This fly has done some real damage on the water, picking up fish when nothing else worked, and surprisingly picking up the better fish more consistently. And best of all, it's the easiest fly to tie. It's tied on a size 14 and smaller, dry fly hook, partridge tail, just a few fibres, grey squirrel dubbing, sparse with a fine wire rib, and a few wraps of ostrich herl. We fish this high in the water. Sometimes we put a small amount of gink on the back, and this will help hold it up on the water surface for a while, but just keep contact with it or a slow retrieve. The takes can be so aggressive at times. I have fished it lower in the water, again static or slow, or just allowing it to come around. If there's a bit of a breeze or a wind, just let it drop and let it come round in the wind, and it really does work. Now there was one day when I was out on the water and I was fishing this fly, and obviously the pattern, it was doing really well, and a few of the boys were coming up and finding out what I was using. So I gave them all one of these flies, and it wasn't long before I lost my fly, and I had none left in the box. So I had to look around in the box to find something that could present or represent the same as this pattern, or fish the same more importantly. And what I found was a March brown, a small March brown. So what I'd done, I hacked about with my scissors and put that on, and it worked the same. So it does not have to be exactly the same as this pattern, but something like. Okay, so we're down the other side of the lake now. The first thing that's very apparent here is the amount of wind. There's a hell of a lot of wind here. We do This is a very exposed water, and this is quite normal. So I've switched the point fly. I've put this other pattern on now. Just giving it a go. Now this pattern has been picking up a good few fish. Normally when I'm fishing it, not static, you know, but just letting it come around, do its own thing. Alright, I was just going to cast then and the fish picked me up. It must have been that from static, that sudden movement. I tell you what, this is quite a hard fish. He's fighting really hard. That is a good fish. And that ain't a stocky neither. Again on that point fly. And he's got a big tail on the end of that thing. Let's have a look at him. Oh, nearly lost him then. Oh yeah. That is one good clean fish. And the hook is out already. And release him. Lovely. And off he goes. This wind is tricky. Another one. I might be into a hot spot, yeah. That feels tidy too. Fighting really well. Whoa, that fish, see where it ended up then? It just flew out there. Oh, and he's off again. It's unbelievable the speed they can go, the distance they cover in just a blip. Very tricky casting here. The wind is really strong on my right hand shoulder. And the back cast is impossible because I've got all them trees there. Ouch! There you are. I knew it was only a matter of time before that fly came in too close, hit me. That was very lucky. Oh dear. Oh dear dear. Okay, I think what I'll do is switch this one off. The wind is strong here. So I think I'm very lucky there. The camera landed a bit funny, I don't know, I can see it's a bit skew with the part of the camera. So what I'm going to do is switch this one off. Unbelievable, even the GoPro is playing up a bit now. Another one. That fish is burying down. There's a lot of weed down there. I've got to watch for that. And again, we'll check, but it could be another stocky. Could be picking up on them. It's unbelievable how hard they fight. Let's see if we can get him to come up. No way. That fish is most definitely a stocky. Go on then, fish. Right, I'm happy with that. I ain't gonna hammer it. We'll see if one of the other boys want to give this a go in here. I think they'll struggle with that wind, but if they want to go in there, they can. I'll have a cup of tea. Okay, nobody really wants to move into that piece of water. I think it is a bit too windy, really. And the chances are, it was stockfish anyway. It was mainly stockfish I was pulling from there. And they're more than likely going to move around. So the chances of them being there still, it's quite unlikely. But I've been watching Dave fishing up on the point there while I was on my cup of tea. And I've seen he's been pulling up 1 or 2 fish. So I'm going to go up and have a look. Probably have a bit of a fish by him for a while. And see what he's been picking up. Ah? Oh, a brownie? Yeah. So they were definitely stockies, I'd say.
They're on the move, perhaps.
They're moving around, and they just happened to be there when I was there at the time. And as I say, you could have a lot of different patterns on.
And let's move it on the top.
What do you have that on there?
Under there. Oh! Well stretch. On the ducks.
You reckon there's a few fish in by here then? Yeah? This is what buddies do, don't they? They fish together. Yeah?
It's all tangled up.
We're close buddies. It'd be good now if we have a hit at the same time.
So see if they cross. We bank it.
What are you on? Floating line?
Yeah.
So you're picking these fish up a bit higher then?
But I got about 8 foot.
That might be a bit too deep then. I think I might have to put my other fly back on.
They never fail 5.
Yeah.
What's right here's you now? Look.
Could always try the fanny Ann.
What?
The fanny Ann.
What?
Put the fanny Ann on.
I played the pot smashers out. One of them balls with a beard.
What?
One of them balls with a beard.
Balls and beards,
Never
yeah.
Bob give us them things.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Beard on them.
Yeah. Yeah. Hairy ball. Oh, even the hairy Mary.
Here you go.
Huh?
You go.
You had a pull?
Yeah, 2 bites out.
Did you?
Yeah.
Out by there?
You can't do that, that's cheating.
By there, is it? Go on, fishy. Grab me fly.
It's going to be fish moving up and under here, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
There's a bit of warmth in our sun now.
I know, it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. Especially on your hands.
Okay, so I had to get away from dyers. I wanted to get in and do a bit of serious fishing. So I've moved up into this arm. Di's still up there wondering what the Fanny Ann is. He's going to go online and look at that this evening. Now that's going to be difficult for him because he is crap on a computer. I'm terrible on a computer and Di's even worse. So it's going to be forever for him to find this fly. The thing is, you don't share everything with your friends. Some things you've got to keep a bit more personal, a bit secret. So I've got a few of these Fanny Anns tied up. And this little fanny that I'm putting on here, small little hairy thing, and it works best deep and slow. Okay, it's been a while. I did pick one up. I don't know what it's on the point fly. I let it drop down a decent bit. It was steady figure of 8 again, keeping it slow and low. Right. Oh, I just had a good hit then. Missed it. You know, some might say why ain't I putting an intermediate on. Now I don't know if these fish, if I put the intermediate on, obviously I'm going to get down to that level a bit quicker and I can maintain that level, but so long as I'm moving it faster, otherwise I'm going to go too low. And I know I got weed out there and I could end up finding myself spending more time ripping it out of the weed than anything. So I've got a bit more control with the floating line. Obviously down deep, slow. So as before, basically just slow it up, get it down.